coming up in about 30 minutes time. Now though, I bring you our song that got me through, and this week it's a very special song that got me through as we pay tribute to the late, great, legendary Brighton DJ Pete Hayward. Now, this interview was actually arranged on Tuesday with the idea that his wife Kasia would come on the show to talk about what it's like caring for someone facing end-of-life care. But sadly, events overtook us and Pete passed away just 2 days later. And in a move which is testament to Kasia's extraordinary strength and bravery, she still wanted to go ahead with the interview in the hope that by sharing what she and her family have been through over the past year and a half might be able to help others. And also she wanted to do it in memory of her beloved Pete and the enormous love they shared. Time to meet our song that got me through guest today. I don't actually know where to start with this. Kasia joins me in the studio. I just want to begin by saying I think you are incredibly brave and show huge strength even being here today talking to me. Just to give people a little bit of background, I don't know if you have heard the very sad news that Brighton's legendary DJ Pete Hayward passed away just a couple of days ago. And we'd planned to do this interview, Kasia, before Pete's passing. And when you messaged me to say what had happened, I'll be honest with you, I kind of thought, oh, well, that's Saturday cancelled. We won't be meeting up. But no, you said, I do still want to come in. And I think that's because you are really passionate about raising awareness of brain tumours, and you want to kind of share your experience with others. And some of the lessons that you and Pete have learnt through all of this. How are you doing? It sounds like such a silly question considering, but I mean, what have the last couple of days been like?
It's the easiest question to ask, but the most difficult to answer, isn't it? And with so many of these questions I've been getting over the last couple of days, and I would just say up and down, and obviously terribly distraught. And hope has been taken away from me and from us here in Brighton and worldwide who adored Peter. And not everyone naturally have been fully informed about the reason for Pete's passing, his illness, because in a way he was a very popular and famous man. On the other hand, he was quite private with regards to his sort of a life be on the decks, I would say, or be on the screen. So we haven't been really actively talking about the fact that on the 22nd of December 2022, Pete got diagnosed with one of the most aggressive cancers, a brain tumor called glioblastoma multiforme, and completely out of the blue, with zero symptoms. And in fact, in the time when we're doing a lot of very physical activities, we are very physically active family. Pete loved being out and about. He loved playing tennis with me. We were on the beach, riding scooters, running, playing badminton. So always and forever active. And a lot of you also remember him being out and about on the music scenes, loving the nightlife, bars, coffee shops. So all of a sudden, we, out of the blue, with just him being unable to type on one morning or two, we thought he potentially could have been affected by silent stroke. And Pete said, I'm not feeling that great. I just feel a little bit odd. And maybe I should go to A&E, and I took him to A&E in Worthing, and a few days later I'm sitting upstairs at the Royal Sussex Hospital, the neuro surgery office, talking about and looking at the scan of something that had absolutely no potential for treatment. It was a huge shock.
Yeah, and when you hear those words, cancer, the fact that it's incurable, I mean, how did you react? How did Pete react to the news?
It's a very surreal and again you sort of a experience, because you're sitting with a very experienced doctor who's extremely eloquent, and you look at a scan and you absorb the message. What you're trying to do at the same time, it seems a little bit like, yes, it's your reality, but at the same time it feels like it isn't your reality. So you sort of, you have to take it away and get a bit of an understanding. You start Googling immediately.
Yeah.
And I actually had I have a friend, James, who lost his parents to same illness, both of his parents, in fact, in a young age. So I had been aware, and it just sort of all came back to me from all the stories that that James, and how it affected me when he told me years ago, and all of a sudden I was in that situation. So you are fervently Googling, hoping, thinking, trials, what else we're going to do, what does it going to look like. But what we had decided, and this is one of the things that I really wanted to talk about on the show, was that immediate reality check and say, what is it that we need to do outside of the fact there's going to be a treatment plan of some sort, because potentially you will be put on a treatment that is going to contain the condition to a certain degree for a certain period of time. We just had to be very practical and pragmatic. And this is what I would strongly advise to anyone, any family, an individual affected by this particular illness, or in fact any considerably serious tumor, that you have to put things in place immediately.
This is the thing, though, isn't it? Just not knowing how long you've got left. I know it was really important to you and Pete that you had some quality time, the two of you, your children. I'm guessing as well you became Pete's carer.
Essentially, yes. So all of a sudden and immediately, the balance changes. So the thing that would really struck me very, very deeply was that Peter was losing his independence slowly but surely, and eventually I became from the month of diagnosis a full-time carer. So on top of full-time job, looking after our two children, and just trying to get a life together.
I mean, that is a juggle and then some, Kasia. How did you do it?
It is extremely hard, and again, we were really I just don't want to use the word lucky, but I think the way I organized things, or we decided to sort of made, as I said, what is your plan, what do you want to do, how do you want to sort of enjoy your life every single day. It was what worked for us. But eventually in those last, I would say, couple of months, when Pete was diagnosed with the second tumor, and then eventually experiencing a brain bleed, then it just became 24/7 full-time care with carers in the last sort of a week, and then eventually in hospital. That was very, very, very physically draining, emotionally draining. It's very, very difficult. So I also really want to, and I try to do a little bit more work in the space to get a bigger understanding for carers out there. So, the people who care for others, the unpaid carers, as family members, because it is an exceptionally difficult task. I'm not don't want to take it away from people who potentially care after a disabled person, all through a lifetime, because you put a framework together and a certain support system that's going to work. But if you're faced all of a sudden with a situation that you're caring for a terminally ill person who is dying, and what you have to witness, which is extremely sort of inhumane, and if someone was to ask you, do you want to do this? It's a no, I don't want this. It's like having a hot potato all of a sudden in your hands.
You have no choice. And it's the suddenness of it all, like you say. Your life literally, just turns upside down in that moment. I know Pete continued to make music, and obviously that was a great shared love of you both. And in fact, you told me a wonderful story, and I hope you don't mind sharing it now, of how the two of you met in the first place.
We met in Poland, where I am from originally, and Pete was invited by a very dear friend of ours, Jem Lindsay, who's quite a known English promoter in Warsaw. Pete was actually one of the first house DJs from England invited to play house music in Poland. So he was very also renowned, known by MTV and the fan base in Poland. And Jem invited him to play in basically one of the cities I used to study in. In a new club that just had just opened, which in a funny way belonged to an ex-boyfriend of mine. And I was, in fact, it's interesting to be here on the radio today. I was temping for a radio station at the time, and the guys from the radio said to me, you need to come with us we want you to do an interview with this English DJ, because you're the only person who speaks English. and I was like, all right, okay, of course I'll do it. And I did a lot of research, and I had a list of questions. And the thing about this wild fruit thing kept popping up everywhere. I did the research with the logo, obviously, that in fact Pete designed for Paul Kemp. Obviously, Paul is managing director of Brighton Pride, and they had worked together for many years very closely on numerous projects. But I thought it was very interesting, and we got to the club, and I was supposed to interview Pete. I was obviously doing a great job on Denied, but my ex-boyfriend at the time was not very happy with it, so I had to give an interview to the young kid who was with us, and he was like, what am I supposed to do with that? So just read the question, just play a record, it'll be fine. And by the end of the night, as we were on our way out, I was dancing, and Pete just turned up, hands in the pocket, looking great, and just said to me, hey, you crazy girl. I was like, well, actually, I was supposed to interview you tonight, and the rest is history. So we effectively, that was on the 7th of February, I think 2023, and from then on, once we were pretty much inseparable. Even though I lived in a different country, I lived in Florida for a while, and but as I was saying, we were like two peas in the pod from that moment onwards, which is bonkers.
Soulmates.
Such a great life.
Now, because Pete produced so much music, I guess it's really hard for you to choose one track, for the song that got you through. But the song that you have chosen, you actually feature on.
Yeah, I do. So Thinking About You, on our initial project called Galoka. Again, a great story, and also thanks to James Wiltshire, who you are familiar with from the original Freemasons house, duo producers, and now the engineer for F9 Audio. They were working on a song together, and Pete, I think, said to James, but this girl in Poland, wouldn't it be great to have some this exotic vocal on and maybe we can record her through the telephone. remember, this is kind of early days of mobile phones, so it'd be great effect. We make it really haughty and all that, because it's such a deep track. And Pete wrote those words, and he said he was kind of writing them thinking about me. And then messaged me, so would you like to say them over the phone, and we will record you in the studio here. And I said, oh, I give it a go. And we did it. And that song became extremely popular. It featured on numerous global compilations, over I think 50 global compilations, and really opened the door to other stuff that we started to work with. Being featured on Cafe Mambo twice, on Hotel Costas, Head Candy. So in fact, some of our stuff then were featured on BBC programs on Hollyoaks as well. So that was genuinely life-changing for us. That funny little track you were thinking with some girl speaking over the phone really changed the direction of that sort of a passion for music. And in fact, we did a lot of music together. Peter did a lot of music himself, but he sort of discovered something in me that I didn't know I had. I went to a music school. I went to play piano for 6 years. But was never exposed to producing electronic music. So
he unlocked it from within.
Exactly. So unleashed the dragon. Little did he know, this talentless kid from Poland all of a sudden could speak with semi-decent English and do other things. So yeah, it was quite funny. But that's the song, and we had some great collaborators also on the video. Mikey Trotter did a video for that, which we shot in Brighton. It's great sort of a romantic story, and a song that really sealed our life. And in fact, now when I play it, they will say, I've been thinking about you during I Wish I Was With You, which I am.
thinking about you. And that choice of song from our Song That Got Me Through guest this week, Kasia, whose husband, the late great Brighton DJ Pete Hayward, who passed away just a few days ago.